One second. It's doing the camera thing again, what he did the other week.
Rambo, Rambo, HV to Rambo, 1 2 1 2.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Rambo. Hey, hey,
Um,
Rambo.
hey, hey. Hey, there
There
I
you
am.
go. There you are. How's it going?
All right, I was running a little bit late. Just running,
No worries.
ready
What you
to
got
go.
going on today? What you going here, there, and everywhere for today?
Usual work, but
Yep.
just got to stay till my actual time today. But,
I usually shove off a little early.
just a little early every day, but like this today, I had to wait, and then I got stuck in traffic on the way home. So here we
I
am.
don't think the audience knows this. And I mean, Rambo knows the fine art of
Of not
taking back
working.
time, taking
Yeah.
back his own time. Rambo is the absolute master
I,
at
I give myself a
reclaiming
pay
his
rise,
time.
basically.
You
In
did.
time. I pay myself in time. So it's
Yes.
like,
And honestly, that's the true currents. Well, I mean, our focus, attention, and energy, yes, 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 but that's measured over what? Over time. And so like you are fiddling with the equation, with the grand equation. And I salute you, sir. I
yeah, honestly, I do.
salute
I take back my time, and it's one of those things. It's a very NPC like job, but
Yeah.
then it's like if I can get myself a pay rise by coming home whenever I want, then I will do. But
Yeah.
when on days when I do have to stay till the time, it kind of kicking myself like
Feel a little
they've
pissed
had the
off.
money's worth out of me.
How dare they?
Yeah, that's how I feel. Like, oh my God, I've got to come and I finish at 2 p.m. So it's not like I finish late, but
Yeah. But you know what? Everybody, that is literally, I know you're not in a traditional like office culture, but that's like corporate culture 101 is like how to pretend to do your job all day or like how to take,
well,
yeah,
it's
how to leave a little, how to get there a little late, how to leave a little early, how to take a little extra lunch break. I mean,
I
that's
do
like
understand
literally how
notes
you
like
survive.
jobs. Some jobs are like kind of important, but then like there's so many jobs out there where
Oh,
you are
yeah.
literally just pretending
Yeah.
to work or
Yep.
to look like you work. Do you know, that's how it
100%.
feels at my place. It's not just me, it's everybody. It's like
Oh, yeah.
everybody's like pretending to look busy, or they'll mess load of stuff up and then make it all back to how it originally was,
Yeah.
just to
And handle
take the time, really.
processes.
Like
You
they'll
know,
change all the system of how it works and then change it all back again like the next couple of weeks, just
just to
to
keep us
keep
busy.
busy.
Yeah, just for us to have something to do. I think we've talked about this before. It's one of my favorite topic. I mean, the jobs in general, like categorically, they're kind of fake. Like so much of what we do as human beings in our professions, and there are some caveats. Yes, there are some caveats to this, but like they're not needed. Like a lot of the things we do, especially in corporate America, a lot of the tasks, the mid-level tasks that are done, people analyzing this, reporting to that, checking on this, fiddling with that. A lot of those jobs are simply not needed. It's truly busy work. I've been in a busy work position a few times in my life, and I remember thinking, like, this is so anybody, anyone, or any now any chat GPT, any processor can do this process. It doesn't need, there really doesn't need to be any skill. And I think, yeah,
Even
this
for
is shout out Abby.
applications and whatnot nowadays, you don't even need to do that.
Mm.
Like you just like you say, you just chat GPT everything and it
And
it
it's your
does it
whole
all,
thing.
Joe. Like you don't even need to think about it, do you really? But I don't know if obviously that's not a good thing really, because we don't have to
No.
think anymore. But
No, it's mindless, but that's kind of how that's kind of how it
that's how
has
the job
been.
is.
That's
That's
how,
what
yes.
application it deserves.
100%. Yeah, we're giving it what it deserves. And shout out Abby from back in the day in our community. She had said something that I will never forget. She said they are called occupations because they keep us occupied. When she said
Definitely.
that was a mic drop moment. I was like, oh my God, it's in there. It's in the word. I love it. I love it when everything is, you know me.
Because even if you
the whole
enjoy your
thing in the word.
job, it's kind of still a pointless job in a way. Do you know, like, because
Yeah.
does the world need it? Do you know, do you need it? Do you know what I mean? It's with
Mm-mm.
my job, obviously you need it for your bills and stuff, but it's not important. Like,
Yeah.
what would you say is an important job, really? It's like
I mean, I want to say like
paramedics.
doctor, doctor, firefighter. Shout out to Dallas Fort Worth's firefighting crew. Lord knows they've been busy with me in the past year. I've had them over a few times, oh Lord. But yeah, we need them. We need those fellas. Yeah, I think there's electricians, plumbers. We need y'all. Keep us, keep us smooth, keep us float. We need there's certain services and technical professions that I do
But
think
even
are
those jobs, then, like, say, electricians there, right?
like if we
If it
really were
is really
doing
true and energy was free,
correct,
like we're told,
correct,
is an electrician a created job? And then you
correct.
feel like you need it, but really, originally,
Yeah.
back whenever, we never actually needed it.
Same thing with plumber.
Created an occupation.
I love that you brought it to that, Rambo, because that is the heart of it. That is the heart of the issue. And even with plumbers, like we have talked about this before. Plumbers, why do you need a plumber? Because my toilet's clogged. Well, why is your toilet clogged? Well, it took a big shit. Well, why'd you take a big shit? Well, because I've got a gastrointestinal system that requires me to consume food for my energy, and then I turn that food into waste, and we flush our pee pee poo poo down the toilet. I do not think that that entire process is necessary. I think that there is a way. I know in my bones. I'm too late to experiment on this in myself, and I can't do this on anybody else because that would be some sort of human to human abuse, I'm sure. But I think that if we can bypass that gastro to intestinal, because when we're in the womb, we do not consume. We are absorbing minerals, they say, the placenta through our mother, through the umbilical cord, blah blah blah. We get all of our minerals that way. So there is a way to like not consume. We know that there's a way to not eat and still be nourished. Okay, that's like one example. Okay, but once you're out, you immediately get on the tit or on the formula, and that's when your gastrointestinal system really starts ramping up. And once you start on the food, there's no going back. There's truly no going back. But perhaps there's a way like to kick on some sort of alternate energy system within our bodies, just as when when an adult starves his body of carbohydrates, we kick on a new system called ketosis. It's just a completely different way, a completely different system in which to convert certain elements into food and fuel, or into fuel for our body, certain food elements but we go from like a carbohydrate converting system to a fat converting system into fuel. So we can do that. We have backup systems, but do we have a backup system called like photosynthesis or something? Could our skin, which is our largest organ, could our skin be the actual key, like to absorbing sunlight and creating nutrition from it? Like we know plants, that they say they can do photosynthesis. Our skin is actually better at absorbing certain vitamins and minerals and things. If you actually put like certain minerals and vitamins into your lotions, it actually gets absorbed more effectively and efficiently than if you were doing it through your gut system, because sometimes there's a lot of waste in trying to absorb it through that. Our guts, they do give us some intuition, and I love it for that. I love those gut instincts. But as far as fueling us, it's so inefficient, and we're constantly gobbling up little fuel sources, and we're constantly going to the bathroom. Imagine if we could take all that time back. I mean, imagine how much time we spend on the toilet. Like, I mean, guys more than girls. Guys God, I don't know what y'all do in there. I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Do not tell me. Let that be a mystery. Because I'm in and out. I mean, TMI, between you and me, Rambo, and nobody else. When I go number 2, it's as fast as going pee. I mean, I'm in and out. Like nobody would know. And I'm so funny. I flush like while, like it's so efficient. Like I flush while it's happening, And so there's like never a turd in the toilet. Like it's just, was it even there? Was it even there? I don't know.
It's like a cat. Like that's
It's like I literally do the flush. I flush as it's releasing, and so it just goes straight. Oop, put that on silent. That's the Matrix calling, saying too much information.
yeah.
Okay, let's start over. Hey, Rambo.
But like, yeah. Hey. But like even like like you're saying about food and stuff, like some days I feel like, why aren't I getting hungry today? And do you know what I'll do? I'll have a cup of tea and I'll put sugar in it. And soon as I have sugar, I'm hungry for the day.
Yes, 100%. That is, I like to
There are
fast
days
from
where I'm a
time to
bit
time.
like, why aren't I eating anything today?
Yeah.
And then it's in my mind that I feel like I need to eat 3 meals every day, no matter what, like whatever the time. Even if I've had one and then I need to squeeze the three, and I don't know why I do that. Like,
It's programming. Yeah, it's programming. I do not eat 3 meals a day. I haven't. I don't know if I ever have. But yeah, my favorite thing to do. My ex-husband used to. I called it Belinner. It's not just brunch, but it is breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like if you could just eat a big enough meal around, midday, like around noon, 11 or noon, if you can just eat a big old meal with all the calories you need for the day, all the protein you need for the day, all the vegetable, whatever. If you can just, hang on one second. I'm gonna have to take this and then I'll cut this out. Hang on one second.
yeah, so 11 o'clock, you say eat a full meal with everything you need.
Yes.
But then some days I could eat a meal, and some days, have you ever been like weak hungry? I don't know whether I'm missing nutrients in it, but I've been it where I'm actually weak with hunger, even though I've eaten in the day.
Ooh,
Like actually
I don't
feel
know if I
weak.
felt
Like I've
that
had that
feeling
feel
in a
where
long time.
I get it quite often where I'm actually weak with hunger, and I don't know why.
I
Like
never feel
even
that.
though I've eaten. And then I wanted to talk while we're on this subject about fasting, right? So
Yeah.
everybody's doing it at the minute. Like I know so many people that are fasting, and I believe like it could be good for you to clear you out or whatever. But then if you're doing it to say lose weight, then you have to maintain doing that. So I know a guy who doesn't eat from Sunday through till Tuesday night every week. He does it every week, and he's
Yeah.
lost like a lot of weight. But then to maintain that now, he's got to do that forever. Doesn't
Well,
feel like it's good. It
I
can't be
actually
good.
think, I think I don't think I've ever done it that extreme. I
Do
do
it
like
every
to
week.
kind of let it ride if I'm not hungry in the morning and I feel pretty whole. Like, sometimes you'll wake up and you kind of feel weak, and sometimes you wake up and you feel a little whole. But sometimes I wake up and I feel full, I feel whole, I feel energized. I'm like, I don't need breakfast right now, and then I just kind of let that ride through whenever I do start to feel an actual feeling of hunger, which I don't think a lot of people know what that feels like to actually be hungry. Anyway, but to go for days and days and days, like your friend, I actually think that there is something very beneficial to that. I think that we okay, like back to our GI system, there's so much energy waste in that process while we are digesting. There is just so many processes happening inside of us that are taking away precious resources, potentially from our cognitive skills while we're digesting. It's diverting blood, it's diverting energy, it's diverting processes just away from something else. I think a lot of it takes away from our cognitive abilities.
I said, didn't you feel like you get that weak hunger? And he said, yeah, but I just stick through it, and then all of a sudden I'm fully energized again.
Yeah.
Then he'll go running and all this stuff, but like it's like I just feel like it might be good every now and again, but if it's a weekly thing, I don't know.
It's honestly lifestyle. I mean, if that
Have I
works for
tried it
him,
myself? I don't think I could actually, to be honest, I don't think I could actually do it because I like to eat.
I like to eat. Yeah, I enjoy. I try not to. I guess the word is fetishize food. Like I try not to obsess about it because I do have a very obsessive mind, and I have been in I don't know if have I really talked about this too much on the show. I don't really like to bring it up too much, but I have suffered from some food issues in the past. Thank God those are in my rearview mirror. Thank goodness. But yeah, like kind of food chatter and obsessing about food. It's I don't think that that's good. I don't think that that's good for the psyche. Any way you slice it, like even if you're on these, like, well, I eat, micro meals throughout the day, I have these snacks. I used to work in an office and people would be eating all day, like literally chewing on something all day, because they had their breakfast snack, and then they had their mid-morning snack, and then they had their lunch, and then they had their post-lunch snack, and then they had their post-lunch snack, and then they had their this, and then coffee, and then this, and then that. All throughout the day, they were consuming something. They were never not consuming. And I think that like you get addicted. You get addicted to food and to always thinking about when my next sweet treat is, and when my next this is, and when my next that is. You kind of get on this cycle where all you think about, truly all you're thinking about, is like when your next little hit a crack is,
popular thing on the internet as well, isn't it? Like food reviews and new burgers, that's all I see nowadays. And is that part of because it used to just be like the McDonald's adverts, did it, back in the day, and it on the pictures everywhere, on billboards and that, and now it's just every YouTube channel is doing food reviews, even people who just do regular different like vlogs or whatever, and now doing food reviews. It's like a thing, I don't know. And it does make it in the back of your mind.
Even being on a diet forces this chatter. Like just by, like, you cannot, and that's why I think it's more of a lifestyle thing. Like you just have to get in a way of being with food. It cannot be, I am on a diet, because if you were on a diet, just that alone, like you will be thinking about food all day long. You will be thinking about this restriction that you have put on yourself. It will make you
Did you say
more
the
obsessed.
Diet?
And the word diet is in the word die. Yeah, the word diet is in diet, and I just God. And the word
that's
the
one
word
thing I've never
eat,
done.
And so if you spell the word fat, FAT, and then you add one extra line to that word on the F, it's eat. Anyway, it's so close.
I've never been able to diet. I've never tried it. It's never been anything that I've thought about even trying, really.
I'm a little too good at it. I've never needed to diet, but I've always been a small person. Like it was never about, it's just hard. Yeah. Anyway, it was about control and power,
When I was younger, you have to eat 5 meals of chicken and rice every day. And I used to try that. And then when I think about it, when I think back, it's like, if I'm not trying to do anything or why am I trying to eat like a bodybuilder?
Oh, Rambo, that's right. Your bodybuilding days, you did get obsessed.
Why was I trying to eat that when I wasn't?
Yeah.
It was never anything I was actually going. I just wanted to be biggest in the bar or whatever. It wasn't for like any other reason. So when I think back, it was just
in
stupid.
The bar.
yeah, as a young, that's what you want to be. You're like, pick me pint
rolling
up,
in there with your mates. Yeah, pick your pint glass up when your bicep is like actively popped as you're drinking. Oh, can't go any further with this glass. My bicep's in the way.
Obviously, that's like a thing from young, and it was being in them kind of gyms. But I think my generation was that, like my age. Everybody around my area was, I eat 5 things a day of food, and then you have this. So this is another thing I keep seeing everywhere. Supplements, right? Everybody's on supplement. It's like the most popular thing right now. And there's more and more coming out all the time, like different supplements. And back in the day, right, so I'm talking 20 years ago now. That's how old I am. Like, so 20 years ago, I was taking creatine, right? And now,
I'm taking creatine now.
just like it's just come out last week and everybody's only just found out about it. I was taking it 20 years ago.
I know.
And
oh my God.
I don't know why it's gone so popular. And there's another thing I keep seeing it.
I think it has something to do with urine.
That's where that's what the problem with me was. I felt like it was not right for me, but I was on it for years. And then there's another one I keep hearing of now they say it's a mushroom. Tonga Ali. Have you heard of that? Tonga Ali?
No, but I just ordered some of that mushroom coffee. It's like all the rage now. It's like this powdered mushroom, and it's like a coffee alternative, and it's supposed to be really good for your gut health. And I don't know. Maybe
But is
that's,
it though?
I
And
don't
this is where it goes back to. So
know.
this is where when it goes back to me, like when I've posted about it a few times, like how does anybody know what's good when everybody's
I
different?
know.
Like me and another guy could do the same workout, eat the same food, but get different results. So then
Yeah.
their how can anyone tell someone else what's good for them to eat? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And again, if you've not lived for 200 years old, if you're not 200 years old and still look fresh and young, then I can't take advice from you. That's how I see it. Like, there's no evidence that any of this, none of it works. Anything anyone's telling you on the internet, oh, eat this, don't drink this, don't breathe this. There's no actual evidence that it works because we all kind of only live to 100 if you're very well lucky. I
Right.
don't know whether that's lucky or not. I don't know. Maybe it's unlucky, but the maximum 100. So like,
Right.
does it any of it really matter? Like you see, I've seen people who have lived a whole life healthy, running, eating diets, supplements, and then they died. And there's people who drink beer every day, smoke every day, eat McDonald's every week, and they're healthy in a way. Do you know, they're still alive and they're still doing everything that they've always done.
Supplement reminds me of the word supplant, which is kind of a negative word. It's
Yeah.
like to take, just to replace or to supersede by force or something. It feels like there's a little wink there. These supplements aren't additive. They're somehow taking and replacing. I don't know. There's some little
We
wordplay
talk with electrolytes and stuff.
there.
I've never heard of it until the
Oh,
last couple of
yeah.
years. Everybody's on electrolytes. Somebody actually said to me last week, what supplements you taking? I said, none. Like, not took anything like for 20 years. Like, any tablets. Like the fasting guy who was saying, then he takes all sorts of different
And
supplement
okay,
pills and
and there's like these blanket terms now, like amino acids and peptides, and it's like, well, what? I'm taking amino acids. Well, which one or what is that? Like, what does that mean? Well, I'm taking peptides. Well, which ones? Like,
yeah,
what
isn't that like a
like
blanket word of
what is it? Like
like
what? It
loads?
doesn't
Yeah, what is
explain
it? Yeah.
anything. Like well, okay, tell me more, but it's just like these words that get passed around, tossed around, and it's like you don't even know what it is. I had a drink the other day, a post workout or whatever, and it was like powder amino acids and swirled it into my water and it was like fruit punch flavor. But I'm like, what is this? What in the Kool-Aid is this? I just had no
Shilajit, I keep hearing about that. Shilajit, everybody's having
what?
Shilajit. Have you ever heard of it?
It sounds
Shilajit?
like shill legit.
Shilajit, so it's everywhere. I mean,
Okay, I'm looking this up.
it's easy to find people everybody takes it, everyone, and you stir this little, they say
Oh,
it
I've
comes
been
from the
seeing
Himalayas or something.
that black
And
stuff. Ooh, that
yeah,
black
and they
goo
put it
stuff.
in
Yeah.
water and stir it. And I don't know what
Palm
it does, and there's
like
no evidence because it's if you think about it, it's only they're going on like it's an ancient thing, but we don't know.
we don't know
And
that.
it's only become popular in, I'd say, the last 2 years, really, where everybody's on it. But where's the evidence it does anything to you that's good in the long run?
Okay, it's supposed to boost energy. Okay, so it's a tar-like substance found in the Himalayas, and it's supposed to boost energy. Okay, we have talked about for a long time about tar, the tar-like remnant burn off, like that being our energy burn off. Like, what
Yeah.
if this? And we talked about that in the term under the umbrella of like fossil fuels, and when oil is taken out of the ground, like original, there's like this tar-like consistency, and there's just something, and we've kind of talked about how maybe that oil is just our energetic burn off, because like when you light, like a marijuana leaf or a tobacco leaf or something, what's left is this tar-like substance that's like the post burn off of the thing. So what if it is? What if this tar-like substance coming from the ground is our energy, or is like a remnant of us, and we're just getting sold back us, taking it and like getting a little boost of energy off
It's
of
a good.
ourselves? Like we're taking, we're getting high off our own supply, literally. I
There's
don't know. There's
all
something.
different types of it, and they say it can only come from one place. So, like, what? It can come from only one place, right? I don't. I think it's just like a lab-made thing, and there's all different. Oh, you only have it if it's hard. Oh no, you only have it if it's soft. I just watch everybody taking these things, and I'll be I'll just evidence it myself in a few years' time, of what
Some
it's
of
actually
the
done.
some of the
Joe
claims. Okay,
Rogan is the pusher of it all as well. A lot of supplements come from a guest on the Joe Rogan show.
it's supposed to, okay, they're saying, okay, without any evidence, it's supposed to promote longevity, sure, prevent cognitive decline, improve fertility, reduce inflammation, which that's a big one. Reducing inflammation. I don't know if this does it, but I feel like inflammation is kind of like the secret killer of everything. That's like the little ninja hiding in the background. May support immune health, fight off viruses, okay, fight cancer. Oh boy. Bone health, iron deficiency, may relieve stress. Okay, sounds like a magic pill. I'm not buying it. I'm
And
not.
think how many more are going to come out in the future. And all I need to say is it fights off cancer, and people would eat it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Uh-huh.
that.
Yeah.
All I need to add to the label. Oh, may fight cancer, and nobody cares what it is. It may fight cancer, but it
The
also may
way,
give it you.
right. And the way that it promotes longevity, they say, is it's an antioxidant, which means it protects our cells from damage caused by oxidative
So
stress.
is this
And this
Shilajit
goes
still?
back,
Yeah.
this kind of goes back to what we were talking about with oxygenation of the body and our processes. Like, I guess we were talking more about gastro and not about oxygenation. But all these processes that we do all day, every day, we have to eat all day long. We have to poop and pee all day long. We have to breathe all day long. I also think our lungs could be bypassed, you know? I also think we could take oxygen out of the air through our skin.
Do you know
Why,
what?
why do we have to have our
Talking
lungs?
about lungs, right? I've never heard of a double lung transplant ever in my life. It's something I've never heard of. Have you?
A
A double
double lung
lung transplant.
transplant.
So
I don't know.
there's a guy called Ben Askren, and he was in the UFC, and he was in some rigged fights, and he fought Jake Paul,
No.
right? So all of a sudden now he's like in hospital, and he needed a double lung transplant, and Jake Paul apparently paid for this double lung transplant. And I just feel like I'd never even heard of that. I didn't even know it was a thing. Like
Double lung. Yeah. I mean, I've heard of a lung
it cost a
transplant
million
before.
dollars to get done, and no insurance covers it. So this guy who's a millionaire or whatever, but he couldn't afford his insurance, didn't cover it. So Jake Paul paid for it, apparently.
What did he do to damage his lung so badly? Or I guess maybe.
It's unclear of why his lungs were like that, but it come up on. So he's called Ben Askren. I think he's called Ben Funky Askren on Twitter, and he used to post all kind of conspiracy like stuff. And he was famous for like do you remember it was everywhere in America. There's a guy called Masvidal who ran and kneed this guy in the head, and he won in 5 seconds, the quickest win ever. It's like the most iconic stoppage in the UFC. And when you actually slow the video down, it didn't actually knee him in the head. It was nowhere near his head, but it looked like it on the camera. So that made him kind of infamous for getting knocked out. And then he fought Jake Paul after he left. So he fought Jake Paul, and then he took a dive, and then all of a sudden it's coming up now. Oh, he needs a double lung transplant, and then now he's had it, and he made a video saying it, but it didn't look like him. Like, I know they go, oh, he's lost loads of weight, but I just was like looking at the teeth and just something didn't seem right with it.
You know,
I've never heard of a double lung transplant before. That's all. I was just wondering, have you heard of one? Like, I didn't know
I've
it was
never
a
heard of
thing.
one. I did a lot of work for this like organ transplant company, which I do like corporate communications and stuff. So like these materials that never get seen by the public, but they just kind of get seen like internally and things. But it was for this organ transplant. It was like so like their focus on death, like they kind of want people to die so they can get those organs out of the bodies and stuff. It's a weird it's seen as like a public good, but there's like a weird market around organs and like organ donation and what you think is like you think you're donating your organs, but those organs you donate are actually getting sold for like top dollar with, like you said, these $1 million double lung implant. Someone probably donated those lungs, for free. And somewhere there's a market that's and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for these organs. There's something weird. There's something weird about
Over
organ
here, they
donation.
automatically, you have to sign off. So I've signed off to not donate my organs,
Yeah.
but I still don't believe that they're not going to take them
Oh, they're
anyway.
gonna rip them right out of you, Rambo.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
have to, they put you on a
Give me them
thing, you have to
lungs.
sign to say you don't want, so you're automatically donating them unless you go on the website and say, oh, I don't want to donate them.
Yeah. I just, it's is in looking at, we question everything here. And the most fundamental, getting right to brass tacks, looking inward and questioning even that is, it's interesting. Questioning our body systems is we're told that everything we're made perfectly and everything is so vital. There's not one, there's not one useless element of our system, and everything is so perfectly ordered and ordained, and everything just needs to be, and everything it's perfect because it is, and blah 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 blah. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Like I think that there's some. I think our body is a system, and our body is like a vessel, and I think that there can be some bypasses in this system, but I just don't think we're ever allowed to try. And I think you kind of got to start early. And this is okay. So this is kind of connected, not necessarily connected, but I think it might illustrate a larger point. Maybe I'm trying to make. But okay, when human beings, when we learn to read, when we learn the skill of reading, it's something that can't be unlearned. Once you learn to read, you can never unlearn reading. It fundamentally changes your brain and actually offloads other processes. It is what is the word we just used? It supplants. It supplants and replaces other processes. We get less acute at certain things, and our brain kind of takes away certain. We get less acute with pattern recognition. We get less acute with. Oh gosh, I need to look this up. Maybe I'll put this on. I'll put this on Discord because I think this is going to be a cool exploration for just down the road or whatever. But when we take on certain processes as advanced human beings, we are actually losing other capacities and capabilities that our brain is ready for, and we
Because you're only
replace
then
it.
looking at the words of something when it could be.
It could be something else. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. We it can't be undone. That's the thing. Like you can't unlearn how to read. Like I can never look at a billboard with English lettering and not know what it says. Now I can still get this sensation when I go to another country and I look at a billboard and it's in a language I do not know. Those words, they're communicating something, but it's saying nothing to me. It looks like nothing to me, just like in the West world. It doesn't look like anything to me. But once you learn that language, and then automatically
So like
forever,
some
you
people
can't.
can't read those, so they call it dyslexia. Is that like a gift in
I
some
think
way?
it's a gift. I think it's actually, yeah. And people who are dyslexic have been known to have skills and increased skills in other areas. I wish I'd done more research on this before I did not have this one in my notes to talk about today. I thought we were going to talk about, I have a whole thing of notes still on Camp Mystic, but fuck that shit. If you guys want to know about what I've been thinking about Camp Mystic, just go to my Insta stories. That's it. I got two saved highlights. I don't even,
Is it
look at
still
this.
big news over there?
It
It kind of
is. It
passed it
is.
over here now. I've not heard anything about it
It's still big
for a
news.
bit.
I've got,
Have
I've
you
got a
found all the
whole,
bodies and stuff like that yet? Or
who knows? I don't even. I can't even with that one anymore. I'm a little overwhelmed. I did it to myself. I did this to myself. It's a self-inflicted overwhelming by the river. Just look, yeah. I have Camp Mystic 1 and Camp Mystic 2 on my highlights on Insta. And if you want to take a little peek inside my brain the past week, there you go. That's literally like everything. That's everything that I was gonna say. Everything that's on this little list. Look how many notes I have. This is crazy. I filled up an entire page with notes because I just had so many things bing bonging in my head, and we haven't talked about zero of them, which is fine. Which is, I think, the way.
it's fine.
And that is the way that we do it anyway. Yeah, these notes.
It's
Notes
like
me down.
dyslexia there being like some sort of
I think it's a protective measure.
yeah, and it's like the thing with school how like some people are really good at just taking in all the information and being able to put it back out there on paper again
Yeah.
and remember it all. And then other people, it just doesn't go in. So I was like one of the people that I always seen it as a skill. Maybe I was just dumb, but it was
Oh,
like
Rambo.
it didn't
Nothing.
go in. Like, so in school, like nothing would go in my brain. And I feel like it was my subconscious, like rejecting it or wasn't
Rejecting
able
that
to
project.
protecting me from taking the stuff in. Like, and the same with dyslexia, is it purposely like making you not be able to, so you can see the bigger picture of
I feel like it's a self-preservation sort of thing, like the brain trying to preserve its precious powers and not trying to be overwritten with this new operating language. Truly, like and language is an operating system. Full stop. Period. Language is an OS. The language we speak, the words coming out of my mouth right now, this is a system. This is an operating system.
what we've been
And
taught. And like you said, we've talked about before,
it
colours could
rewrites.
be language, but we've never been learnt to read it. So we only know
Absolutely.
the words.
Same with notes.
Yeah.
Same with notes. You know, the notes on the keyboard correspond to letters of the alphabet too. Like imagine being able to hear notes being played, but also reading those letters being spelled as it's being played. There might be some actual words coming through these notations or messages that are coded in and plain as day, and they're just waiting to be decoded, just absolutely just waiting for us to take it in a different way with a
Because that's where
different
the gematria thing comes in with words. And they say words are
yeah,
numbers. And that's how people like decode,
yeah.
say, headlines, whatever. Like they would take the words used and break it down into numbers.
Yeah, and gematria has long been a kind of a blind spot for me. I don't fuck with numbers. I just don't do it. I've got my one number I like 413 and that's about it. That's about all I'll do. And I'll
Mine
know I'll,
always
I'll notice a
changes.
33. You know, I can see a 33 in a headline or a 9/11 not so sneakily snuck into the news article. I can see those, but that's about as far as I go. For me, when I was in school, I've always been I was obsessed with words even before I could learn to read, and I wanted to read so badly. I just had to wait until someone taught me how to read, but I wanted to so badly because I came from a family of readers. My dad was always reading, my mom was always reading, and I wanted to join the club. My brother was always reading. He's got a photographic memory of books. Like he can.
Did you used to have set books in say primary school that you had to read like so
Yeah,
they still to this day read the same book
Anne
but
Frank.
changed to
Yeah, we had.
today's
It's the
world.
same books. It's the same. And a lot
Kipper
of
books,
those
ours was, they were
are
called. They were
Kipper
called
books.
Kipper books. So it was about this like and about finding this magic key. That was the whole thing of the book. And I was asking my son about it,
That's a Mission
and he's
Impossible
like,
sync. I just watched
yeah,
that.
he's like, we still. I said to me, son, do you read Kipper books? And he knew exactly what I was talking about. But now in it, there's like transgenders in it and everything.
Oh
Now they've
God.
fully changed the Kipper books now to that.
Oh my
So it's like it's upgraded. Well, not upgraded, but like
God.
moved with how the times are now. But it's still the same character, Kipper,
Kippa,
and the magic key.
Kippa and the Magic Key. Well, this is an
And
indelicate
that's how they would
transition.
grade you in school. So that's like
Oh wait,
how
what?
what you would be, your classroom would be based on. So they'd have them with colours like red might be the hard one, blue, medium, green, easy. So that's who you'd be in the class with all the green people if you could only read the
Color
green one. And
coding.
yeah,
Well,
so that's
emerald
how it
green's a
used to be
huge
here.
part of this Camp Mystic story. There's a lot of odd syncs. Guys, just go to my store. Just go to my Insta
I think you
highlights.
should tell us about it because you've got it all there. You may as
I
well, and I need to know more on
know.
it. I'd like to
Do
know
I
a bit
have?
more on it, to be honest, because like I say, the word
Okay.
mystic is just a bit, but I'd like to hear more on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've read your
Oh.
stories, but it's better to hear it from you
I
rather
gotta
than like
crack my
reading.
wrists and get stretched
Yeah.
out for this one. Oh my God. Ah.
Shadow boxing.
Yeah, good thing I trained in the gym all day yesterday for this. Okay, so last time we talked, I mean, our last episode was kind of all about Camp Mystic, and it was kind of as it was happening. We were very fresh. It was very fresh. It was the
It was
news.
like the day before, wasn't it, or something? 2 days
No,
before.
it was right before. It was right after. It was right
Yeah.
after it hit, about a week ago, and we were still very much inundated by the original news stories, and so kind of our last episode was all about that element, like what was, the first news stories coming out, the flooding and the actual natural disaster. Because I do believe there was a flood. I know people that have been affected by the flood, but the fact that there was a real flood on the Guadalupe River does not mean that these little girls died at Camp Mystic. Two things can be true at the same time, and I think, one thing can be true and another thing can be false at the same time. That's what I meant to say. And I do think that what makes these stories very powerful, particularly this story, is the layering of the real and the unreal. So there has been the flood. Actually, my cousins, I mentioned this on the last episode, my cousins, they lost their house. Their house completely flooded. They had in Ingram, Texas, literally on the Guadalupe River, like from their backyard, you could see the river. It came up and came into their house and everything got flooded, and once things are waterlogged, all their possessions are now, they're going through it all. So I do know that there was an actual natural disaster. So, but then all of this narrative, everything I'm reading about Camp Mystic, I just don't buy any of it. And after our recording last time, things seemed to escalate. I went for a bike ride. And right after our recording, I went for a bike ride. And I started noticing these green ribbons around. I first saw one green ribbon tied around a stop sign. I was like, that's interesting. I haven't seen that before. What is that? And then I looked to my right and I saw green ribbons on almost every tree that I could see. And then I looked to my left, saw a green ribbon and I was like, how did I miss this? They're everywhere. They were literally everywhere, on every tree, in front of every house in this neighborhood. No explanation, just a green ribbon. And by ribbon, I'm using that word very loosely. It was actually like green plastic film that had been tied very haphazardly, very shoddily around the trunk of a tree and formed into this really flimsy little,
like a
bow. Yeah, but it's trash tied around a tree. It was this flimsy plastic trash tied around all these trees. The first thing I thought, and I shared this in my stories too, but the first thing I thought was, my goodness, this is a remarkably low effort exercise. So this is a very low effort gesture. And this is a very flimsy gesture. Like the material itself was like trash. It's not a real ribbon. It's just plastic, like almost like saran wrap or something. It's just like plastic that's been wrapped around the tree. It happens to be emerald green, which is very notable, I think. But I saw it and I felt in my bones, I felt like, oh my God, this is the mind virus. I can see it spreading. I can literally see this virus of consciousness spreading across the land. And it happens to be emerald. Like my city is now becoming an emerald city. And many cities across the land are becoming emerald cities, which there's so many Oz connects to this story. I don't even know if I'll be able to do this in a narrative structure where it gets everything. But that was the first thing. And that was like the day after our last recording. So that was when I felt like things began to kind of ramp up a little bit about how like pervasive this story was becoming.
So was that linked to that story? Was it like a tribute?
It was a tribute to the Camp Mystic. To Camp Mystic. And I apologize if I accidentally say Camp Wisdom, which I might have already said Camp Wisdom. There's a Boy Scout camp in my area called Camp Wisdom, and I have many times when I'm doing research, I'll accidentally type Camp Wisdom and then the other word that I'm trying to see if there's a connection to, and it's like no connections, and I'm like, oh, Camp Mystic, and then I rewrite it, and there's like tons of connections, and I'm like, okay, but yeah, something about wisdom and mystic, they're very, very close in my head, but something to that, but okay, so that was last week, about a week ago, when I started seeing the green tent taking over. The tint is in color, like the green color spreading everywhere. And that reminded me of something from The Wizard of Oz, not the actual movie, but the book. In the book Wizard of Oz, the Emerald City is not actually emerald. It only appears emerald because the citizens have been forced to wear emerald tinted glasses. And something about that just, it was like, oh, this is it. Like this is like an emerald tint that we, like a tint, like a shade that is now coming over our visual field, our world, like is now being, I feel like, shaded into this color, this very specific color of emerald green. And important to note too, the river itself, the Guadalupe River, the Wolf River, is known to be emerald green. The water of the river is and this was noted in many articles, and I knew this, but I just forgot that that's famous for being a green river. I forgot about that, but yeah, and not just any green, but emerald green. So there's a lot of emerald elements and a lot of Wizard of Oz syncs to all of this. And again, just go look at my highlights. I'm getting overwhelmed just trying to like put all this together. I'm gonna jump ahead to something that is more recent. This is in the past couple of days. Melania Trump came out with a charm bracelet post. She shared like this bracelet she was wearing. It was a charm bracelet, which is like a chain around the wrist, and then charms are affixed to the chain. But the word itself, charm, that's right back to magic. That's right back to the mystical nature of this whole thing. A charm bracelet. Charm also goes to a point of fascination. To charm is to fascinate. And to fascinate truly is to imprison the consciousness, to imprison the focused attention. If you are fascinated by something, you are mentally imprisoned by it. To be in a state of fascination is to be arrested, truly, to be arrested by whatever it is, whatever you're fascinated by, because it's holding you. It's holding your attention. It's holding your gaze. It's holding that precious, focused energy and attention flowing out of those eyeballs, those laser beams pointing out. It's gotcha. It's taking all that in. And so I think like and there's this huge push, weirdly, with this company called James Avery. It's like known for their charm bracelets, but apparently now everything about Camp Mystic is about these charms, these charm bracelets. Apparently all the girls that went to camp, they all collected these charms. And there's just something about the word charm being inserted now into this narrative. It feels like we are just layering on these mystical, magical elements. I feel like it all relates to the spellbound nature of these stories, how the spell is quite literally powered by our belief. And it feels like it is ramping up the magic attempts, like the show, like the magic show is escalating, you know, like these, it's getting more and more obvious that we are sitting in the audience of a magician's series of tricks, you know? And it feels like the system is getting very blunt. I cannot get over, I haven't really figured it out yet, but I cannot get over this phrase or this idea of self-evident, to be self-evident. I feel like everything in this story is self-evident. It is a mirror of exactly what it is. It is a reflection of exactly what it is. And let's like the charm, the camp mystic. Like the mystic is self-evident of the magic trick being played on.
Word, isn't it? Yeah.
The charm is self-evident of the charm being on the river wolf, you know, and then. Okay, so this is an interesting one. You know how we were on the Hunt name? Okay, so there's a Hunt family who's very prominent. They're the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, what? But they're kind of in this. I have a little thing on them too inside one of my stories of the Guadalupe. Anyway, just go look at those. But there's the Hunt family, and this thing is right by Hunt, Texas. That's where a lot of the, it's it's in Kerrville, but it's actually being said to be Hunt is right next door, and a lot of the activities have taken place in Hunt. So we have the Hunt family in Hunt, Texas, on the Wolf River. And I just learned that the Kansas City Chiefs mascot is called Wolfie. And so that's like a wolf, hunt, wolf. I just, and then around and around and around it goes. And then the Guadalupe River being emerald green, and then all this emerald green stuff coming out of it. It just feels like, I guess it feels like a fractal. Like every little piece is a fractal of the larger narrative of, and even though Kerrville, Kerrville, in Kerr County, Kerr. Okay, well, I was just reminded of something. One of my followers on Insta sent me something about the Kerr effect, Kerr. And guess what that relates to? The Kerr effect relates to a little something that I've been on this year called birefringence, which is it's so fucking random. I can't even wrap my head around this. So birefringence is when plastics are stressed, when plastics are stretched or compressed or formed in any way that stresses the plastic, which is basically how plastic is formed. So basically all plastics. There is an effect called birefringence. It's a rainbow effect. And it's the way that light is bouncing off of the material. It kind of splits into it. It's really about how the light is bouncing, and it creates a rainbow effect. It's not a real rainbow effect. It's not actually an optical illusion. It's an optical phenomenon. And it's really just how the light is bouncing off the material. And it's something that we're absorbing, like we're seeing a rainbow effect, but it's just kind of this like play of light. So it's an optical phenomena, not an optical illusion, but it's still very interesting that, and back to the Wizard of Oz of it all, like this rainbow effect, the Kerrville effect relates directly to rainbows, to a rainbow effect. And I'm on this Oz thing and Emerald, and somewhere over the rainbow just keeps kind of playing in the back of my head. And again, with the birefringence, it's plastics under stress. Keyword on stress. And this goes back to an exploration that I've had for a long time. Shout out Realize Radio Discord. Just look up the word plastic. I have been arguing for a long time that we are plastic, that human beings are a form of plastic. Everything about us, our skin, everything inside, everything outside. It's a form of cellulose plastic that has made and created us. And the whole concept of like microplastics, like, oh, there's microplastics in this boy's sperm now. It's like, it's everywhere. Bro, it's not just in your sperm, it's in every part of you. We're macroplastics. So I'm not surprised we got microplastics in us. It's just the way it is. We are plastic, we are living, breathing dolls. And I think all this stuff, I think we are plastics under stress. I think that we are the plastics that are being stressed. And I do think that there is some sort of rainbow. I do not know. I feel like all of this increased stress is maybe for our benefit. I think something somewhere is happening and we're heading over that rainbow. I feel like there is something, all of this stress, all of this escalation of trauma and tragedy, and like the heart-wrenching nature of this story with the dead little girls at camp bubble camp or whatever. That's like, okay, that's another thing.
Is that another one?
Yeah, so Camp Bubble, it's like where they sent all the, at Camp Mystic, there was this bubble camp or whatever, and that's Bubble Inn. Bubble Inn is what it was called. And that's where all the youngest kids went. And that's where the majority of the people died, quote unquote. All these, the tiny, and the littlest girls at camp were the ones that got washed away. Just think of how heartbreaking that is, just even that. And there's something about having it be the littlest girls, because those girls would not have interacted with the other people at camp. Because I went to summer camp and you're kind of with your age. If there's younger girls, they're not with you. And so this would be a really easy way to convince the older campers that something happened to the younger campers, because they would have never interacted. They would have never seen each other really. And so it's like, oh, those younger campers got washed away. Oh, you could just say that. And not that they ever saw them or knew them or anything. It just makes for a very clever separation. Okay, so bubble camp got washed away, or bubble in or whatever got washed away. And that's where the majority of the people died. But just imagine the exterior of a bubble, that rainbow effect. You know, the rainbow effect on a bubble.
Yeah.
It's the same phenomenon. It's the same effect, that rainbow effect on and even bubbles. Okay, so there's something about the thin membrane of a bubble, and that when I saw these like these flimsy plastic things on the trees, like I put my hand under one and kind of stretched it, and it was like stretching with it was like my, you know, it was just so flimsy and so plastic, to use that word as a verb and not just as a noun, but plastic means the ability to stretch and bend. But it was like, there was something about it. It made me think of, it just made me think of like about to break, like to be stretched to the point of about to break, and like a bubble, the surface tension of a bubble is what gives it its that beautiful rainbow effect. But it's also that tension, that about to breakness that is creating that effect. I don't know. I feel like we are just kind of standing at this weird, like we're on the brink. We're seeing the rainbow effect, and the bubble's about to burst or something. And I don't know. I think this is all like a good thing. It's all of this tragedy, all of this trauma. And maybe that's what 9/11 was. Maybe it was trying to push us to the brink to get us out of here. You know, trying to use, I've always saw these collective events as a negative thing, these collective events of trauma and tragedy. But what if actually we are being pushed without our understanding towards something greater? And it's using this emotional state of stress to get us over the rainbow, proverbially, or, you know, metaphorically, literally. I don't even know. Whatever the word is there. But I don't know.
It does feel that way, doesn't it?
There's a lot more Oz connections. Oh, and then after I was making all these Oz connections, after I was going down, I was going like full force on all these like Oz connections within my stories. Then I'm taking a walk in, like, it's not my neighborhood because it's like this really, really fancy neighborhood that's just over yonder, but it's where I like to take my walks because it's so much nicer than my little ghetto street. So I just kind of move myself over there. But it's where I move around. It's like, it's kind of, I call it my neighborhood, but it's not. But okay, so I take somewhat ownership of it by proxy. They had a parade, which they do every year. They had it's called Lakewood Parade, Lakewood 4th of July Parade. Well, it was a few days after the parade, and I saw this sign that was still up, and their theme this year was "There's no place like home." There's no place like home. And all the sign was like yellow brick road winding around this community called Lakewood. And it was like emerald green. And I was like, ah! And that's where I watched fireworks too. That's literally where I just didn't see the sign because it was only over this one yard and I didn't go that direction. So I didn't see the sign when I was watching fireworks, but I was like, oh my God, there's no place. Yeah, there's just, the directness of that sync kind of stopped me in my tracks a little bit. Made me definitely. I've had some real looking over my shoulder elements. Oh, I watched Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Yeah.
And guys, these words.
Never seen any of them.
I saw the first and the last, the Alpha and Omega, and I feel like that's all I need to see. And that felt like a very that felt like the bookend I needed to experience. But there's some, okay, you mentioned this like a magic key earlier, right?
Yeah.
That was a big part of the Mission Impossible the last movie was finding this cruciform key and putting it in this thing that they found on the submarine and fighting the entity, like this unnamed, named the entity, but this kind of nebulous boogeyman who wasn't at all explained in the movie, but and I was really out to lunch on what was going on in the movie because I did not see part 1, Dead Reckoning, which kind of explained everything, and then part 2, The Final Reckoning, they didn't at all go back and explain. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? The whole movie, I was like, huh? Who's that? What's going on? Where are they doing that? I had no idea. And then Tom was just running the whole time. It's just a vehicle for
jumping
Tom
off planes
to run. Yeah, exactly. It was too much, way too much. But you know, there were a lot of kind of weird personal things, and I might collect all those things and do like a Mission Impossible little thing, like a post. I have some notes on that, but I don't want to spend too much time on Mission Impossible this
So
time.
how
Other
old
than
is
to
Mission
say,
Impossible? Is it an
30
old
years
film,
old,
really?
1996.
Is that how old it is?
30 years,
And
29.
that's the final one.
That's what it's the final
Do you know
reckoning.
what? It's been feeling
Also,
like we're
P.S.
back in the
Reckoning is a
90s.
huge word on the Realize Radio Discord. Reckoning. Just look that. I've been on this for a minute. It's been like a word that's been on my radar. I've been obsessed with it. Reckoning. It's crazy. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I'm
That's
like
the final one.
the final.
It's like
They say.
based in the 90s. Like, and I was feeling like just
Da,
recently,
na,
I've
na,
been feeling
na,
very
na, na, na.
90s. Like something's happening. Like they're taking us back to the
Ooh.
90s somehow. Like how they have like in the UK. Like at the minute, it's like the 90s summer. It's like the wasps everywhere again. Oasis are back. This Oasis
Right.
thing. Honestly, it's feeling like a weird vibe. Everybody around, I don't know where, but everyone in Manchester, whether they're going to the concert or they're not, are just wearing like Oasis kind of clothes, like the bucket hat and them kind of
Oasis
glasses.
is water language too. You know, there's been a lot of like water focus. And what is the
got like a
definition of
90s
that?
summer going on at the minute here. It feels like.
Oh, I'm thinking of Mirage. I was thinking, okay, so Oasis, well, an Oasis can be a Mirage, but Oasis is water in the desert. An Oasis is water in the desert. But I was thinking of a Mirage, which is the appearance of water in the
Of
desert.
something, yeah.
And one can, you know, a Mirage can appear as an Oasis, but I don't know. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking that, but I don't know. I mean, are you going to go to I saw that it was in Manchester, the Oasis
Yeah,
concert.
it's in Manchester. It's just up the road from me now. So it's been on twice up to now. I think they're on 2 more times or 3 more times. No.
You think someone's
see
going to
it
go down?
now,
You think they're
as
going to
some
have
sort of NPC kind of thing, really, now. It's put me, like, I've never really been mad on it anyway or anything, really, but everyone's dressed like it. Everywhere's playing Oasis songs.
Even
Cars
the
that are driving
bucket
down the
hat,
street.
that has a water connotation, right?
Yeah.
That's
People
weird.
driving down the street with Oasis on. It's like, it's
Yeah.
not for me.
Well,
It's
speaking of
like,
water, I'm going on a cruise in a couple
oh,
of
that's soon, isn't it? Yeah.
July 24 to 29, 24 to 28, 24 to 29, I think. Yeah, 24th. So I'll be incommunicado. I am not paying for the Wi-Fi. I'm going to be out of commission for a few days. We'll still have our regularly scheduled everything because I'm going to leave on a Thursday and I'm back on a Monday. And so we're not going to miss a beat. You know, we'll be fine. The shows will still come out. It'll be, yeah, I don't need to do a recording from ahoy, matey. I don't need to do a recording from the high seas.
cruise.
Yeah, I won't be able to do that because we won't have, I'm actually really looking
And
forward.
even if you did have the Wi-Fi, it probably wouldn't
It wouldn't be good
hold
enough.
this
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. So we're not gonna do any. I'm not gonna try to do any high seas.
Then we've got our group Zoom tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, Wednesday, July 16th.
6
Tomorrow,
p.m.
6
UK.
p.m. London time. Just look up. I'm not gonna give multiple time zones because I wouldn't give them correctly anyway. We're just gonna give one time zone, 6 p.m. London. So just do what I do every single time I'm about to talk to Rambo. I just Google 6 p.m. London time to Dallas time on my Google, and it just tells me
is it
exactly.
4 hours behind
We're
you, or
6. At this time, right now we're 6 hours ahead, but there's like a weird period where America falls back or springs forward a week ahead of y'all for some reason. Yeah, you guys do it a week later. And so there's a week where our times are slightly, like our time difference is slightly different, and it gets me every time. And I always seem to book a group Zoom during that weird time, and I always get the time zone wrong.
Yeah.
Guys, numbers are not my thing. Like I am not a numbers gal. I am a word girly. I was actually not diagnosed. That sounds like I have a disease, but I was given a designation of something when I was young called high verbal. And it just means that you have a very strong command of the English language at an early time. And I did, and I do. I love it. I love everything about words. I love deconstructing words. I don't have any interest in numbers, like zero. They just, they don't compute. Like they don't blow my skirt up, you know? Words do. Words do. Love them. Okay, let's see. You know what? That's it. I have a bunch of other, okay, I'm just gonna go real quick. Okay, I wrote down river of consciousness because I think that our consciousness does move like a river. And I think that we're all getting swept away by this story. So that's definitely something. Camp, the word camp, speaking of words, the word camp comes from the word campus, Latin, and it means level ground, level ground. And I think that's interesting because we have talked many times on the show about how these stories seem to kind of shift the ground from beneath our feet. We never really have terra firma. We never have solid ground on which to stand, on which to build our own, you know, our own ideas and our own understandings about this word. Everything's always shifting. You know, the doctors say this is good for you, and the next day say that's bad for you, and then and like even like everything we believe about our world around us, everything we believe about our bodies, it's always shifting, always changing. Like there's never this firm level, solid ground to stand on. So I think that that's kind of a wink to that. Groupthink, I have groupthink highlighted with a little star next to it because ultimately I think that this whole story is an exercise and an illustration of the power of groupthink. I think many people are not at all related to this story or not at all connected to this story, but they believe that they are because they have been absorbed into this collective hysteria, this collective illusion and delusion, and it feels very real. Even though they don't know anybody that actually died, they're still participating in these like sing-alongs and these candle vigils and they're hearing stories. Like I cannot tell you how many stories just from being at the gym, going to the grocery store, going here, that where people are telling me they're direct, like strangers, picking up conversations with strangers, and they're telling me how many people they know that lost lives in Camp Mystic. And I'm like, how does it, and all these influencers all over social media, everybody went to Camp Mystic. Everybody knows someone who died at Camp Mystic. How can this tiny little camp that nobody had ever heard of affect everybody's life? Like it's the number, the math ain't mathin'. It just doesn't make sense. I think people are being swept up into believing that they are connected because it's being brought so close to home. Even those fucking ribbons around the tree make it feel real for a passerby. Someone will go, oh, those poor girls. You know, just by seeing a ribbon on the tree. That's an example of groupthink. It's very powerful. It's very, very, very powerful. And I've seen a lot of videos of like these gatherings, especially in my city, being in Dallas, we're not that far. And this is apparently everybody in Dallas, Texas went to camp. I keep saying Camp Wisdom, Camp Mystic. I'm sorry if I've interchanged the two. I'm sorry. The Camp Mystic. But yeah, it's just impossible. It's mission impossible that all these people have a real connection. Oh, but back to Mission Impossible being a 1996 thing. That's when John Benet Ramsey died. Yeah, that's a Mission Impossible right there. I'm telling you what. I don't know. The last thing I have on there. Oh, two more things. Okay. Jesus wept. I keep seeing like images of this like car panel, like a it's just a big piece of a car, you know, trash, and someone has spray painted Jesus wept on there, and everyone's sharing. All these religious people are sharing it, like, oh, Bible, you know, and thinking it's like some heartfelt message. Jesus wept is not a religious message. Jesus wept is like, you've got to be shitting me. Like that's essentially what, right? In the UK, when someone says Jesus wept, it's almost a statement of, I don't believe you, or I can't believe that, or you've got to be kidding me, or it's not at all something you would say. Like if someone was coming you with a tragedy, you would never. It's not like a God bless you. It's not a statement of religious sentiment or of a somberness in any way. It's actually like a fuck that sort of thing, you know? So Jesus wept being shared. I was like, and the only reason I know that is because I'm obsessed with this show called Slow Horses. It's on HBO. It's a series and it was based on a book. and I watched the series, and then I have read every book in the series now. I literally became obsessed with this. And one of the main characters, his name's Jackson Lamb. That's what he says. Whenever things are incredulous, whenever something is presented to him that he cannot believe he's seeing what he's seeing, instead of saying like, "You've got to be kidding me," or "Get out of here with that shit," he says, "Jesus wept."
Jesus wept.
Yeah. And so when I saw that, I was like, that doesn't mean what people think it means. You know, it's like, but again, it's the directness. It's like we're being telegraphed and projected the absoluteness, but most people just can't see it. Most people are not seeing it. Also, Jesus wept is the shortest verse in the Bible. I thought that's kind of interesting. That's of all the verses in the Bible, that's the shortest. And I think that might have a little nod to do with like the completeness and the conciseness of these messages we're getting. Like, it's so direct. Like, we're getting these really direct communiques, I feel. So something to that. And then Jenna Bush, one of the Bush girls, she's on George W. Bush's daughter. She's on the Today Show, which is like a morning chat show here in the United States. And she was always repeating this phrase saying, "We were raised at Camp Mystic. We were raised at camp. We were raised at camp." And I just keep hearing that word raised, and I think of the other meaning of raised, which is like total destruction, demolition, destroy, you know? And I'm like, that's kind of a strange word to be using when we're talking about a camp that's been destroyed. Again, like I feel like the words are very direct and representative of a whole, very fractal nature of everything. The micro is the macro, the pattern is the pattern, all these things. But let's just say I'm a little overwhelmed. This is related to nothing, and I need to do more research on it. But I learned earlier that long distance phone calls were enabled by the post office. The post office is
never heard that one.
Yeah, I saw something about Queen Elizabeth making the first long distance telephone call. I wrote that in my notes, but I need to do some more research on it because that relates to nothing, and I have no more to give you on it. But I was like, the post office, like, what's going on here? But something for another day. Something for another day. Well, Rambo, this was a great one. Here, there, and everywhere, like always.
Yeah.
P.S. The Earth is spinning faster. That's the last thing on my notes. The Earth is spinning faster for the next couple of weeks or so, apparently. And I don't, all that. I just think it's, again, representative of all this spin we're getting, all this spin from the media. That's ultimately what it is. All right, Rambo. Talk soon, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Talk tomorrow.
All right.
Take care.